The cage door is locked. The lights are on. Welcome to Flamingo Fight Talk. I'm your host, Kelby Cedarquist, and to the left of me, Derek Strom.
Yeah,
Maybe he's on your right. I don't know. It might be opposite,
so
but
it was so intriguing, so engaging. Like, just take me on this journey there. It was a very
I went
sexual
down.
intro there, buddy.
I went down to the Crayola factory one day. There was
Mhm.
multiple colors. I don't know. Well,
Happy Fight Week! It's good to be back. I know we took a impromptu vacation. We had some sicknesses, some illnesses
yes.
last week, and we could have done a video. We should have did a recap video on the last fight night, but we apologize, and here we are, UFC Fight Week,
Yep.
Strickland versus Hernandez. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling fantastic. Anytime you get a Strickland fight, there is no reason to not be happy. Sean Strickland, he's one of the most controversial fighters that there is in the UFC. It's just one of those guys when he comes up on the screen, hate him or love him, people tune in. He might
Yeah,
not get
yeah.
necessarily the best pay per views, but people still do tune in to watch this dude, either to get knocked out or to give the knockouts. He's very similar to Colby Covington in that sense, where people want to see him get knocked out, but then you still have the people on the other side that want him to win and succeed. He's just one of those fighters.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to talk about Strickland. He's always, embodied that like two sides of a coin of there's the talker
Yeah,
that's just just says some of the most horrendous crap, but
correct.
it's just wild. And then there's the fighter and that his game it started out of just like a walk you down, put pressure and kind of hit the pitter patter, kind of like Nate Diaz style, but more like walking down. And then it did after he got slept by Alex Pereira, it did change, and he got other tools. He's a really good pressure fighter, and like I understand that Colby Covington because as he got at that championship level and on his when he's a former champion,
Yes.
when he was that level, he definitely played it safer in fights. He didn't you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
so like kind of had that Colby like how was when Colby fought like Lawler. He didn't use his takedowns, but he just boxed him up and kept that pace. And that was kind of what Strickland does. It's not the most exciting, and he
Yes.
looks weird in there sometimes. But you
Well,
get
all
some
of the
really good fights with Strickland, and I think
yes.
this might be one of them.
No, a lot of the times that people, even when people win or lose against Strickland, they always say that it's awkward to fight Strickland. He
Yeah.
just comes in, he's just different. He comes in at weird angles that you kind of not really expect, but he's not the most explosive. He's not the most technical. He's not the most, fast striker there is. And he's not the world's best at taking you down.
No, but like that's the thing, like he does have takedowns. He
He
has
does.
jujitsu, and he has great takedown defense. He has kicks. He
His
has
defense is what helps him a lot.
he is, and that's the thing. Whenever you get the guys like we all know, sure, hey guys, listen here, and then he's just going to
Yeah.
drop 15 slurs and say
Yes.
whatever. But like, and like he's this ultra macho, like aggressive guy, but he is a defensive fighter first. And that's like he is a defensive minded fighter. Like so he's not in the business of putting major damage on there. He's in these long run and like yeah, what was the he used to get like he's we'll look at his record later when we're breaking it down, but like yeah,
Yeah.
he had some weird fights throughout his run. And like again, here he is against Anthony Hernandez who's on a tear. So it's going to be a good fight and it's a pretty good card. So
Yeah.
anything else kind of like it's been a while and there's a lot in the fight stuff. So before we get into breaking down the card, anything quickly fight fight related you catch your interest since it's
Ian
on?
Gary and Islam Makhachev is being said it's a done deal.
Maybe that'd be a good fight. Much prefer Islam Makhachev to fight Ian Gary over Kamaru Usman. I don't like
Yeah.
the Usman fight, and frankly, I think it's too early for the Michael Morales fight. So I want to see Michael Morales do one more.
Yeah.
So
No, I totally agree. Without getting too much detail into the fight, Ian Gary, he's just a bigger dude. A lot. I mean, he's got to have 4 or 5 inches on Islam all the way. But then everybody knows Pakistani wrestling with Islam. I don't know. Overall, it's going to be a fun, interesting fight.
Big news on my side. I'll say, hey, Jake Paul, he's coming for y'all in the UFC. Here he is, partnering with Netflix, putting on Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey on Netflix.
Yeah.
And the real question is, does this get more views than the White House card? I think that's going to be the storyline going into that fight. May, then June, we're going to see which one's bigger. MVP Promotions, Rousey versus Carano, or the UFC White House?
You want me to get into it right now, or you want to push it back to another time?
Up to you. Well, I think
I think
Rousey Carano is going to do better than the UFC White House.
I think you're absolutely insane.
All right, we'll talk about it as it gets closer.
I think you're absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, we'll talk about it more when it gets closer. Plus, I do need to see exactly what fights are going to be on the White House card.
Yeah, we don't
But
know,
for right
and
now,
the
I
rest
still
of it.
think the White House cards are going to be better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say no. The White House will be better fights, but the other one will be more viewed. And I'll just say this: here's the reason why.
I think both.
Paramount, it's like what 70 million people have Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
300 something million people have Netflix. More people are going to watch it. And I know the White House is going to be on CBS, but I don't think so. We'll see. This is going to be a fun debate later on.
Yeah, we need more. We need more analysis on that question.
More analysis. Okay. All right. Let's get into Fight Night because people did not hear. I guess they did come for us. They did come here to hear us talk about fights, but not those fights. They want to hear about these fights. UFC Fight Night, Strickland versus Hernandez. Good card with a pretty much, I would say, a number one contenders match in the middleweight division.
Yeah.
The former champ Sean Strickland defending or taking on Anthony Hernandez, a guy who's been on a winning streak since 2020, and he wants his title fight. Both of them going after the champion Khamzat Chimaev.
It's pretty much at the end of the day, are you going to go decide on a very high volume striker fighter in Sean Strickland, or you can go more towards Anthony Hernandez, which is a little bit more well balanced, but he does average over 6 takedowns per fight. So he incorporates a lot more wrestling and grappling style in his fights. But you're going with Sean, or you can go with Sean Strickland, where he is great at defending the takedowns. Or you can rewind it back where you're going with Hernandez, that's on a super hot streak, and going up against Sean Strickland, which Sean Strickland has kind of surprised me a lot at times because I picked against him a lot, and he somehow pulls off the wins. Like in the Paulo Costa fight, I was thinking Paulo Costa should have had him. Nope, dead wrong.
That was a split decision, close fight.
Yeah, was a close fight, but at the end of the day, I was wrong. But that's a whole nother discussion on the Paulo Costa fight. We could pick for that one, but but you see what I'm saying? It's a very mixed match styles and mixed match people going up against each other. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
and that's what it's actually a great. It's a really great fight because
Yeah,
basically you have a pressure striker versus a pressure grappler. One comes out like a cannon, the other slows fights down,
correct.
and both want to implement their game plan. And yeah, I think we're going to see who's winning this fight by who's pushing who back.
Yes.
Whoever ends up on the back foot is probably going to be losing this fight. But hey, it's 25 minutes. And I think both these guys can go 25 minutes. So, and we know Strickland can. So
Yes.
that's kind of where it's going to be. Like I think Strickland, he might lose the first 2 rounds. I think he will be. We talk like, hey, Strickland has great takedown defense. Well, Anthony Hernandez might be the best, if not the second best grappler in that division behind Khamzat Chimaev. I think
Yeah.
he will be pushing him to the fence. I think he will be attacking him with submissions. Anthony Hernandez will take Sean Strickland down, but it's whether, can he finish him? That's a big ask. And then outside of that, as this fight progresses into the third and then the championship rounds, 4 and 5, that's when we might see the best of Strickland. And just to say one more thing, because you mentioned the Paulo Costa fight, we kind of mentioned this earlier. Strickland kind of, he's hard to look good against. And we
Yeah.
see this in those things where, like, we say, oh, he's had kind of a weird thing. Yeah, guy has split decisions all the time. The Paulo
Yes.
Costa, that was a split decision win. His first loss against Dricus du Plessis when he lost the belt, that was a split decision. When he lost to Jared Cannonier by split decision. He beat Jack Hermanson by split decision. The guy goes to decision a lot, and he has split decisions a lot because he doesn't necessarily capitalize with big one punch. He doesn't drop people. And against a savage like Anthony Hernandez, Strickland might be in trouble if he can't hurt him early, I think.
No, you're totally right. Anthony Hernandez, the one thing he needs to do early in the rounds is get top control. The amount of top control he can sustain and maintain throughout the round, not get it at 4 minutes and 45 seconds, but if he's able to get him down in the second round at 1 minute and hold him down for at least 2, 3 minutes and be able to wear Strickland down, because you have to wear him down. It is very hard, but if you can, once you wear Strickland down, Strickland falls off the cliff, which we have seen before, but it's very rare. And I think that's the way Anthony Hernandez wins this fight. If it goes to decision, or if he wins in a knockout or a submission at the end of the
I
day.
think the ground and pound submission options, especially rounds 2 and 3, is the most live options for
Yeah,
Anthony Hernandez if he's going to win by a finish. I don't
correct.
necessarily think a late finish would come. I think Strickland is if it goes late. I think Strickland's winning the back rounds, unless, like you said, the grappling advantage is that stronger with Anthony Hernandez. It actually is that impressive. Which, if that's the case, we got to really ask who's the better wrestler between Khamzat Chimaev and Anthony Hernandez.
Yes.
Like, we need that, but until then, it's like it's an interesting fight, and how's where is Strickland at? Like, that's just such a thing I want to know because
That's the other thing. I could not find much information from his camp on
yeah.
how he's progressing and how he's doing. It's
Yeah,
just
because he's a consistent, 2-3 fight a year type guy. Even when he was main eventing, and then he gets the belt,
hmm
loses, loses the after he loses the belt, he does go back in 2024 and gets that those two fights. And then he fights once in 2025. That's the loss against Duplessis in the second fight. And we haven't seen him since this time. A whole year he's been gone, and that's weird for Strickland. And he's not old. He's
no,
34, I want to say.
no, he's not that old.
He's
And
34 years old. So
no, like even
he
in
doesn't kind of take.
2024. Oh,
You know,
continue.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, so like even in 2024, when you watch him win 3 fights in a row that whole year, and then he
Yeah,
goes and fights Dricus, and then he still fought. He fought twice. What 2025?
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Let
It
me
was
do
very
one
strange.
thing. Let me go through
Look at his
this win
fight.
streak that Anthony Hernandez is on really quick. So it starts in 2021.
Yeah.
He gets a performance of the night on this too. Armin Gill. So round 2 submission against Rodolfo Vieira. Rodolfo Vieira. This is a big fight. I remember watching it. This is the Usman versus Burns card.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is Rodolfo Vieira is supposed to be this jiu-jitsu phenom coming into the sport, and here's Anthony Hernandez, just this, the guy that just got punched out by Kevin Holland not that long ago, and here he is, out grappling these jiu-jitsu, greats.
Yeah.
Then he gets next fight, Josh Fremd, good decision win. He chokes out Marc Andre Barrio round 1. And all that's 2022. He does a ground and pound victory over Edmund Shabazian in a fight he dominated. He chokes out Roman Kopylov, gets another performance of the night there. He starts racking up these bonuses there for these finishes because he, ground and pounds Michael Pereira bonus. He decision wins Brendan Allen. And then in his last fight, another performance bonus. And I think this is his best performance was against Roman Dolidze, where he pretty much dominated him and got the rear naked choke in round 4 after just like I think one of the best displays of grappling in the middleweight division in that Hernandez Dolidze fight. Like I love that one. I remember. And but I went through the names: Dolidze, Allen, Pereira, Kopolov, Shabazian, Marc Andre Barrio, Adolfo Vieira. You can even go with his loss, Kevin Holland. Okay, we know all those names,
Yes.
but that name doesn't compare to anyone like Sean Strickland.
No.
Like this is a former champion he's fighting now, so it's like
Do you go with somebody that's hot, or do you go with somebody that's more experienced at the top 5 level?
yeah, just like Strickland,
And I always lean towards somebody that's hot, but
But
this is a harder
here's
one.
the other thing,
It's a harder one.
Strickland, 16 UFC wins, 7 UFC losses. He's fought he's not old, but he's fought so much in the UFC at
Yeah.
the highest level for a while now. Yeah, for a long time.
No, he's a UFC fighter. True and true.
Yeah. So, what's your official pick? So, you're saying you're going with the guy with momentum. You think it's Anthony Hernandez?
Um. Hmm. If Anthony Hernandez can get to Strickland early, Anthony Hernandez. If Sean Strickland maintains it throughout the fight, Sean Strickland. But ultimate decision, whew. I didn't even look at the betting odds yet on this. I'm so curious to see what the betting world is.
The odds aren't on the UFC's website, so I haven't seen them either.
Oh, I'm curious to see if the odds are leaning towards me. Just because Sean Strickland, there's been nothing come out of his camp, and that's kind of strange. Maybe there's like when nothing really comes out of the camp and camp stay quiet, either they're really trying to game plan or they're hiding some type of injury or they're hiding something. Usually camps they're kind of talkative.
Mm-hmm.
Even the quieter ones. I'll go Anthony Hernandez.
I think I agree. I think again. I just think
I just have a weird feeling. I don't know.
I think what's the best way to say this respectfully? I think Strickland's still a great fighter, but I don't think he's still in the prime of his career, even though he's only 34. And middleweight, you can get older, but I think he's just been around. He's gone to the top. Remember, again, 16, over 20 fights in the UFC. He's like at
Yeah.
what, 23? Going to be 24 here. And it's like that's a lot. It's a lot of fights. It's a lot of times he's been knocked out. It's like the guy. He's a good fighter. But I think his ability to inflict meaningful damage has been going away throughout his performances of late.
Yeah.
And now that you always see this with the champions, they kind of like level up at that elite level, and then when they start going down, it's like okay, because he became champ, went down, got a win, came back, lost again. So is he going to be like the Robert Whitaker, the Max Holloway that just stays as that top 5 gatekeeper? Or is he going to fall out? Because and yeah, he hasn't fought Shemaev yet, and so it's one of those things where it's like I think Sean's on the way out, but like if he's out there stuffing everything Anthony Hernandez can give him and beating him up, I might say, damn, like I need to see Strickland versus Kamzov now.
If Strickland puts a beating on Anthony Hernandez, oh yes, all day. I mean, prove me wrong, but as of right now, I think Hamzat would tear Strickland up.
Yeah, but I think we've kind of said everything we need to say on this. So let's get into the co-main event. We are looking at where was my page?
There's
We're
a
looking
Jeff
at
Neal fight.
welterweight bout. We do got the ranked number. I think he's 13 welterweight. Jeff Neal taking on Eros Medic. You know, it, I've seen Eros Medic fight a few times. He's not ranked, and it's like, okay, I do like. Again, he's good. He's beaten some guys like Smeltsberger. He lost to Jalen Turner, but like he's been in fights. You know what I mean? I've seen
Yes.
kind of like
One thing with Medic, he's a very technical boxer. He has a boxing
yeah,
background, very elusive. He keeps it in the fight, back and forth, in and out. Just a typical mixed martial artist, boxing hybrid guy. Fun to watch, elite boxer, and then going up against Jeff Neal, a great veteran. It's gonna be a fun fight to watch.
and like the other thing is like this guy doesn't. Here's let me say it this way: is Earl's Med welterweight is a stacked division, and Jeff Neal is good. He is,
Yeah.
yeah, he's one of my favorite fighters in that division. Yeah, he's coming off of a knockout loss to Carlos Prates. He beat RDA by leg injury, and after that he had lost to Ian Gary, Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's a in fun fights. He delivers a hell of a lot of knockouts, but he is not elite. Jeff Neal is not the elite of the division, but he's definitely worthy of his rank. I don't know if Eros Medic is going to be that like. I don't know if he's going to break into the rankings here, but what I do say, what it's clear, this guy doesn't go to the decision. He either finishes or he gets finished, and he has a lot of knockouts. Both these guys have a lot of knockouts. So they're going to be trying to take each other's heads off.
Oh, they're definitely gonna be trying to take each other's heads off. It's gonna be a fun fight. Be honest with you, I'm just gonna tell you who I think is gonna win this fight.
Yeah.
Fuck, Maddox going to win this fight. Jeff Neal is going down.
No, that's my guess.
I know. I hate to say it,
Let me
but
see.
it's time, man. You got to hang it up, Derek. You got to
So
hang it up.
here's my only. Let's look at their losses since 2020.
Okay. Yes, go.
Jeff Neal's losses: Stephen Thompson, Neil Magny, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Ian Gary, Carlos Prates. Eros Medic's
Okay.
losses since 2020: Jalen Turner, Mitsubek Orabai, Punalhili Soriano. I think I got that last one night. I think I got last two. So yeah, Neil has lost more, but look at the names.
Yeah, the names are
you know,
significantly better.
the level of competition is completely different.
Yeah, but there's a reason why they're matching up him against him.
It's definitely a night. We've said this before. The UFC, they're looking for these action fights.
Mhm.
Putting this in the co-main, these two guys are going to go in there and try to take each other's heads. They're both going to be going for the knockout. And that's going to be such a great primer for the chaos that's going to be the round one of the Hernandez Strickland fight, which I think round one, we didn't say that when we were covering the previous thing. I think round one of Strickland Hernandez is going to be a wild round. I think
Yeah.
Hernandez is going to go out of cannon, and we might get a first round finish from Strickland or Hernandez. I think that's why that first round. And this fight, we also might get a round one finish because these guys hit hard.
Oh yeah, no, you're not wrong with that by any means. Yeah, yeah, definitely from the main event and the co-main event, you can easily see early finish in both fights. I don't know. It hurts my heart to go
It
against
hurts
Jeff
your heart.
Neal.
Yeah, he's sitting there at 12 in the ranking. So below him are Daniel Rodriguez, who I think's in prison right now. Double check me on
Yeah.
that. I think he's in, having prison problems. You
Yes.
have Michael Venom Page, who also is upset with the UFC, thinks the UFC is currently upset with him because he's fighting in a couple weeks on the London card against an unranked fighter, and he thought he just beat Jared Cannonier, and so he thought he was kind of going to be doing a move up. And then you also have Colby Covington, hanging on. I don't think he's won since 2020, but like here he is hanging on at the bottom of the rankings, still in there. So, I mean,
We could
Earl's
talk
Heavy is
about both
definitely
of those things right there for about 20 minutes. The whole Kobe Covington thing and MVP thing.
Sorry, you are just got quiet on my end. I don't know if that's my computer or you.
I'll say it again. We can definitely talk heavily both on the whole MVP issue and the Kobe Covington. It's not really an issue, but
I think the MVP
him
thing
just being
actually
in
is
the
an issue if you want to talk about that really quick.
let's I don't even know who I want to start with. Let's start with Michael Venom Page.
All right, yeah, let's talk about MVP. UFC is doing them dirty,
Oh,
absolutely.
very much so. MVP has gone on social media lately and talked about this. Not like gone in deep detail, but he's definitely expressed his feelings on the fact that he is facing an unranked fighter. And you kind of got to tip your hats off to him to even accept this fight that's coming
Well,
up.
yeah, and he said he wanted to keep busy, and Sam Patterson's not a bad
No,
fighter. He's
no
4-1 the
disrespect.
UFC. He's good. I think they've trained together too. Actually,
Yeah.
is another aspect of that. But it's like, yeah, who's Sam Patterson? This guy's been,
I'm sorry, Michael Venom Page,
Kevin
he's
Holland, Ian Machado, Gary, Shara Bullet, and Jared Cannonier. Like, he ain't a.
yeah, but even before that, Michael Venom Page has been around the block since I
Oh yeah,
was
yeah,
like
no
in high
question.
school, knocking people's heads off. You got
Yeah,
to keep pushing him forward, and he's fun to watch too. He's a kind of a fan favorite, especially
he
for.
can. He's so. Do you think this is because Dana doesn't like the flashy taunters and stuff like that?
I don't know. I really don't know because I've seen so many things saying that Dana doesn't even make the fights anymore.
Well, that's true. That's true. He doesn't.
But
But
you
I
still
want.
have to think that Dana has a lot of input on what's happening behind the scenes. They just don't want to put all of the pressure and the eyes on Dana. They want to use people that are behind the scenes more.
Well, I think they've set it up to. I don't think Dana has to run the everyday functions. Like no
Yeah,
multi-billion-dollar company can
correct.
run only because one guy's micromanaging it. Like clearly,
Yes.
they know how to run a business. But
Yes.
it's like so like clearly that's part of it. And like yeah, Dana did come out, and this makes sense over if you've been paying attention to sport. Like yeah, he's clearly not as invested, but it's like I still think like the things that he likes and wants has influenced the rest of the product. You know what I mean?
Right.
If he hey,
Extremely
Dana
influential.
White, for example, Dana White doesn't handle signings. Okay, then why not sign Francis Ngannou back? But we're not talking about Dana White and that stuff and Francis. We need
Okay,
to talk
that's
about
all right.
MVP.
How long do you want
Going
this
on,
podcast to go on for?
like yeah, I mean we can do like that's well. Hey, we talked about doing that segment. I don't mind saying it. We're like, hey, around the doing all these other topics, and yeah, there's a lot of news coming out. So maybe we need do an extra video on that stuff, but just really quick,
Well, there's been
like
so much side news coming out right now. Plus, there's so much stuff going on before this whole huge White House card. I don't know. It's just there's been a lot of talk. There's from every camp too.
frankly, I think I would have liked Jeff Neal versus MVP. Just putting those two guys together, I think that would have been a better fight.
Yeah, you got two veterans going at it. Jeff Neal
And
easily can
hey,
handle it, but
that's
I
the
think
funny thing.
MVP
He's
wins.
saying MVP's a veteran. Like that dude's like, what do you mean veteran? I'm on a title run.
Yeah,
I'm 4-1 in the UFC.
yeah, no, not veteran in that way where he's just like he's experienced.
Yeah, I know what you meant, but
Yeah,
just like that's how MVP feels about it.
I'm totally on MVP's side. I mean, he should be one of the considerations for if he wins two more fights or even a fight to be considered for the title.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. I mean, I don't see it any other way. Giving him this fight, it's kind of weird. I don't know if there was something. I need to really look at the division and see if there's other. No, there's the other
It's
fighters are
welterweight.
still available, huh?
It's welterweight. It's a stacked division.
Yeah, no, it's very stacked, but there's other fighters that are available that's above.
Yeah. And hey, I get they're trying and so really quick, last thing on the MVP. So one of the criticisms I remember of MVP before he was in the UFC was oh, he's a can crusher.
Yeah,
He just knocking out guys that are way below him.
yeah.
And that's definitely a fair criticism at times. I think that was more the matchmaking in Bellator than, MVP only taking easy fights. And I think that might be what we're having here as MVP's the flashy viral guy, but he hasn't really delivered a ton of the flashy knockouts in the UFC yet. So I
No,
think that's their thing, and hey, it's hard to knock out the elite fighters. So I think
yeah,
that's where they're getting. It was well, we won our viral MVP knockout.
yeah.
We paid all this money for the guy. We haven't gotten a viral MVP knockout from the guy yet. So maybe they're just sending, Sam Patterson out as a sacrificial lamb for MVP to smoke him, get the cheers, and then, put him up, in a better fight. Maybe that's the case,
If that's the case, okay, sure. I
but
mean, I
here's the
understand
thing,
that.
that's a very, gracious way, but they didn't tell MVP that because he's
No,
pissed off about his opponent. He's also mad that he's not the co-main event on that card, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Anything else on it? Because let's get back into the feature bout, Ezekiel Costa versus Dan Ige.
50K man, Danny Gay.
Yeah.
Flashy, fun to watch, reliable action fighter.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a fun fight.
Oh, this is a great fight. And you know what? You want to know why I like Dan Ige? You know what I
Why?
mean? He's 11-9 in the UFC. But when you want to talk, he's one of those guys. I wish he was a little bit bigger, because if he was a little bit bigger, he's bro. He's a BMF contender.
Oh,
This guy,
100%. He's fun
he
to
does.
watch.
He is so tough. He does not get
No,
finished. The only way he loses is by decision.
correct.
And hey, his name is 50K Ige. They're gonna have to change it to 100K Ige now.
I was just thinking about that. You know what? Let's just put it right here, right now. Dan E get the 100K, man. He gets that 100 racks, 100 bands. And honestly, I wish you could bet on it. I don't know if you can or not, but he might just win it, win another 100K. I wish you could just bet on him winning another fight of the night or fight bonus. But
But
Costa, he's on a good, solid multi-fight win streak too.
yeah, and it's one of those things. Hey, Costa. We've said this a few times. Costa hasn't fought anyone the level of Dan
No,
Ige. Best win is what he has Julian Erosa, and he choked out Andre Feeling. That's not bad.
no,
The when he got the fight of the night against Julian Erosa, that's a good one. But
no.
Dan Ige, just the who's who. But yeah, look, since 2020,
Yeah.
loses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
7, 8 losses.
If you're a person
1,
that is
2, 3,
just
4.
newly coming into the UFC and you look at fighters just based on their record, you need to stop. Because there are fighters like Dan Ige here that is just a true bone to bone, just
Yeah, he's up
fun
there.
guy
He's
to
11-9, but
true fighter. But
he
you would
delivers.
not want
I
to
mean,
fight him in the street.
he just delivers
Yes,
amazing fights all the
correct.
time. And yeah, he's 11-9. You say oh, because I am definitely the guy that looks at the records, but
Yeah,
it's I mean, because it tells the story there. It's Costa, hey, he's on a good win streak. Let's get him in the rankings against Dan Ige, who, hey, he's almost a 500 fighter.
yeah,
But he of the last 13, he's only won 5.
yeah.
He is on the other side of his prime, which was his 6-fight win streak, which I think Melky Costa's on his. So these guys are at different points in their careers, and this is the test to see if Costa can get past that. He's only 29. Ige's 34. We know he's not really. We know Ige doesn't have a title run in him anymore. You know what I mean? He's past that point. He's not getting back up to the top of
Oh no, 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 no.
that division.
This discussion is not about Dan Ige making a title
Yeah.
run. No, Dan Ige's in here to win. extra money and knocking people out or just just fighting. He's just a true fun dude. He just loves to fight,
Yeah.
and you got to respect it.
So official, I think Costa wins by decision.
Um, Costa by decision. Let me think.
Because, like, hey, if we say he finishes Dan Ige, he would have done something no one else has ever done before.
Oh yeah, no, by decision, yeah. But I'm just trying to think if I want to go with Dan Ige. I'm gonna go Costa
Yeah,
by decision. Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
so we got Hernandez. Oh, you said arithmetic. Yeah, no, I argued. I never said my pick. Jeff Neal's going to knock him out. Yeah, what are you talking about? Nah, the hands of steel. Neal's going to knock him out. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I was like, we
Um,
didn't pick that one. We agree
so
on
so
two.
we're on different sides there, but we both agree on Costa.
Yes,
But we got to talk about the bad part of this card now.
let's go. Was it Sergey? Yeah.
Yeah, the bad part of this card is why are we having another heavyweight fight on the main card? No, we don't want this trash division on main card. Put them on the prelims until they're good. But I will say we got a ranked fighter in Sergey Spivak and Ante Dalia. It is Spivak, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
So
you got a
these
high
are three
level.
guys outside the top 10, yeah, or inside the top 10 at 7 and 9. They're trying to move the way up. It's funny because Jalton Almeida got removed, yet he's still in the rankings right now. So I guess Dalia would be actually number 8. But yeah, these are the heavyweights rough. We know it, but Dalia is interesting.
I mean, you got Sergey's solid grappler. Um, Not the most flashy dude to ever watch against ex PFL champion.
Yeah.
It's really the main things you can say about these two fighters. Um, it's gonna be I don't even want to say fun fight. It's gonna be a fight. Um, Only thing is, Sergey wins is just he wins. Ante wins. It helps him more if he wins.
I mean, like I will say, both these guys. What one thing I will say, what I like is both these guys win by ground and pound pretty frequently. So
Yeah,
these are two of the more athletic heavyweights. Let's call them that. These are
yeah,
guys, they hit hard, and they're not going to just lay on top of each other
no,
and gas out like Derek Lewis did, you know, and that. But you get my point. It's like and hey, they've both finished Marcin Tybura. I think Dalia did that by armbar. So no, Spivak did that by armbar. Yeah. So he has submissions as well. He arm triangle Derek Lewis. So yeah, I mean it's a good fight. Dalia, he's fun because you mentioned the PFL. That's obviously the majority of his career, but he's also taken a fight in Risen, taken a fight in KSW. He's been around. He's now 1-1 the UFC with the win over Tybura and then a loss to Salsa Boy, and which Spivak shares a loss to Salsa Boy. I think I mentioned that already.
yeah.
It's a good fight. I just what are we doing here? I'm so like destituted on heavyweight, especially with the news of Tom Aspinall. Again, more fight news. The guy finally had his first surgery, and he's in the recovery now, hoping to get his peripheral vision fixed, and then he's going to have another surgery to remove that black spot in his eye. I don't think Tom Aspinall might not even be coming back at this point. And like what, we're finally going to move up Cyril Gahn to UFC heavyweight champion by default. Like, what are we doing here?
Tom Aspinall career-ending injury. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's the way it's
I
looking.
mean, hopefully he comes back, but he
Yeah,
might be done. He might be
Most
done.
likely done. Either way, we're gonna be bumping up a new dude. Serial
Yeah.
gone.
And like, yeah, and like, I guess we need a guy. It's probably going to be, like, what's the legitimate heavyweight fight? Surreal Gone versus Waldo Acosta Cortez.
Correct.
So I
Well,
guess, hey, we need Dalia and Spivak to,
yeah.
I guess, I don't know, and like that's the thing, like, Dalia, I guess Dalia is still new to the UFC, so that's why I feel more momentum towards him. Spivak's kind of like a known quantity,
Yeah.
like and yeah, Spivak already got knocked out by fucking Surreal Gone, and Tom Aspinall. So it's like, yeah, it's like, and Waldo Cortez. He's already like lost to like the three guys at the top of the division. I didn't go back enough to. I'm sure he lost to Volkov too. I'm not going to dig through the record, but I guess I'm picking Dalia because he's new. But I'm not excited for this fight.
I agree. Delia.
Yeah, it's a bad state when the
Both of
premium
these guys,
MMA promotion has crap heavyweight fights in their top 10.
both of these
And
guys, if they were in different divisions, would not be ranked.
yeah, I love I think it was last week. It was been going around where people have been sharing like the 2012 UFC heavyweight roster, and it's like Fabricio Verdum, Stipe, Mark Hunt, and it's like there's a bunch of them, and
Yeah.
it's like they're talking about like, oh, that division is so much better. It's like I'm looking at this, I'm like, yo, like I think all these guys would be champion outside of maybe beating Tom and Surreal. Like if you remove those two, like yeah, and no disrespect to Volkov, but like like who it is Volkov at Volkov's two, and then there's Pavlovich, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anything else you want to say on this fight? Sorry, I just don't have anything else to say on heavyweight until I start seeing some good fights from it.
And let's go on to the next fight.
All right. I don't know much about these next fighters, but we got a welterweight bout: Jacoby Smith versus Josiah Harrell. Both undefeated fighters, I believe. Are they both 11-0? Is that it?
Yeah, they're both 11-0. The interesting thing that's coming out of this fight that's being talked about in the deep MMA world is Josiah Harrell is recovering from a crazy brain surgery coming off of this fight. He was having. Hold on, I don't want to mess it up. Let me just double. I have it written down here.
Mm-hmm.
He had a rare brain disease that restricted blood flow and dramatically increases the risk of a stroke during physical exertion.
Oh wow.
UFC immediately canceled his contract, and Harrell faced a very real possibility that he was never going to fight again. Um, that was back in July of 2023
Hmm.
against a fight against Jack Della.
Check out Mount. Wow.
And
So
they
yeah, they
noticed that.
had high hopes on him then, because who was Jack?
Well, I had to go look back at it because, like, I feel like I've seen his name before, but then,
He's the former champion. What do you
yeah,
mean?
no, not Jack. I'm talking about Harrell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and like in 2023, that's in the middle of Jack Della Madalena's run.
Yeah,
2023, he beats Randy, rear performance of the night, rear naked choke against Randy Brown. He gets to the split decision fight at night against Brazil. He beats Kevin Holland all in 23. It's right after that he fights Gilbert Burns and then gets the title fight in 2025 against Bilal Muhammad. So yeah, they were going to throw Jacoby Smith right into a ranked fight on his debut back
hmm
2023, and then hey, he didn't make it to the UFC, I guess, but he was busy, in Fury and then in the Ohio. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong fighter. But yeah, he was busy in Fury and the not Fury, sorry, the Ohio Combat League because 2023. Oh, sorry,
yeah.
LFA. Yeah, sorry, I am sorry. But yeah, he fought like Melvin Gillard. Yeah, he went back, got him. I don't know much about him, but I love that story of adversity. So
Yeah. With the surgery, it was super successful.
all right.
And then took some time off, then started getting back into it, started doing some like the way they explained it in some of these articles, kind of more local kind of competitions, kind of get more of the flow with it. And then obviously sparring, and then kind of worked his way back up into now we're here, and almost 3 years later with a undefeated fighter, and he says he's ready to go. So this is one of those fights. I don't know who's going to win.
Well, I'll say this: they're both pretty new. There's hey, there's potential because hey, they're going to throw. Again, they're going to throw this guy against Jack Della Maddalena in the heart of his, undefeated run when he was already
Yeah,
beating like the likes of Kevin Holland and stuff. So,
yeah,
it was only a few fights away from his title fight when this guy was supposed to fight him a couple years ago. So clearly a high prospect. The fact that they're putting Jacoby Smith against him means they favor this guy too. And hey, two undefeated Americans, and is welterweight the best division right now? I think it might be.
yeah,
Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously it's stacked, so it's definitely a good place for them to. There's a reason why this is on a main card, even
yeah.
though it's a fight night. It's low. It's a big. I think it's 6 fights on this main card, but there's a reason why it's on it.
Yeah, like you're saying, there's a reason why UFC sat back, looked back to 11-0 fighters. Obviously, UFC is going to know that not the everyday fan, or even more of the more stronger fans of UFC are going to necessarily remember what happened to this guy. I mean, there's been nothing out of this man for 3 years.
Yeah.
But they know that there's a lot of potential there. And if he does win that fight, they know there is so much promotion that they can do when they start building him up. If he keeps going on a little bit of win streak, it's a
Yeah.
shot in the dark for him. That's why they're putting him on the main card. And both fighters great. And either way, if whoever wins, one person's undefeated still.
Absolutely.
So
All right, let's get into our last fight on the, I guess, official decision. I don't really have a decision because I don't know. I've never seen either one of these guys fight before. I'll tell you what, I definitely got a root for our guy coming off of.
yeah, this is the fight. I'm rooting for I'm rooting for
Yeah,
Harrell. I'm gonna pick
I got
Harrell.
a root for him. I don't know anything about him, but
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't look much more into it, so started looking more into the brain surgery. That was such a like, what?
all
It,
right. Let's talk about the main card, curtain jerker. We got Zach the Savage Reese versus the Demolition Man or Demolador Michel Pereira. These guys, these are some fun fighters here.
Michael Pirro was one of my favorite fighters about 5 years ago. I loved
Yeah,
watching him.
yeah. Man, he was fun.
Zach, this is just one of those fights where it's just going to be fun to watch. Michael Pirro, he's not going to be doing any type of crazy run or anything, but
And
all
that
very
was one of
eccentric fighters.
those things. I remember, man, I remember watching because, yeah, when he came into the UFC, that was in the heart of our 2019, 2020, and the height of our MMA watching. That you know what I mean? When we were
Yeah,
literally watching every event, full cards, all 6 of us.
yeah.
And yeah, I remember we because he had the fight with Danny Roberts as the debut, which was this flying knee and punch combination.
Oh, it was
Yeah, and
ridiculous.
oh my god! And then he's fights right again, but that's when he fights Tristan Connolly, which was in Canada. It's the silver, and he just that's the one where all the clips come from, where
Yes.
he's flying in the air,
He
doing
was our
burpees.
Hamzat before Hamzat came on the scene.
Yeah, and just doing all this insane stuff. And it's he lost that fight because he gassed the
Yes.
hell out and fell down. Connolly's oh, and
Yeah.
Tristan Connolly, he's a good fighter, but it was
The
Jesus
dude is
Christ.
doing a backflip.
And then he illegally kneed Diego Sanchez in his next fight. But then, yeah, that's when he starts going. He goes on that win streak, and he gets good. And guess who? Hey, you want to know who ground and pounded Michelle Pereira out, it was Anthony Hernandez. And
Yeah.
that's when, Michelle Pereira, he's on a 3-fight losing streak now. Hernandez, Abus Magomedov, and Kyle Dawkins. But those are three, all these guys he's fighting at middleweight here, these are tough guys. On the other side, looking at Zach Reese, he has the loss to Cody Brummage. That was his UFC debut. He got slammed and punched out. That's how he got. That's how he lost his first. He was undefeated coming into UFC. His first loss is to Cody Brummage's UFC debut. He got slammed down in round 1 and punched out. He's like, "Welcome to the big show." But he comes back, gets the performance tonight against Julian Marquez, gets another win, loses to Azamat Bekov, a round 1 ground and pound. And then, he, gets a win against Todorovic, no contest against Dumas, chokes out Jackson McVeigh. So he has some of definitely the lower level names he's fought. So, again, performance bonuses. These are exciting fighters still. But who do you got? What do you think? I think Michelle Pereira, I don't know, man. It's like, it just feels like you're not being wise with your money, I feel like, if you're betting on Michelle Pereira these days.
Listen to me right here, right now, camera. Look at me.
I'm zoned in.
Zoned in. Don't bet on him to win. Now, he can win.
He can. He might win in
He might win. But if you came up to me and you're like, Kelby, should I put $100 on him to win? I would be like, you better rethink that. And honestly, I think this is a perfect time for me to go through a couple of my bets of the week.
Okay.
If I don't think you might not have any this week, but I have 2.
I have 1 parlay.
Okay, let's just get right into it while we're just talking about it.
Where's my thought? Oh,
the first bet I have is Anthony Hernandez via submission is at plus 290. I think that's a solid bet. It's hard to bet against Sean Strickland, but if you're going to pick a bet off the main card for somebody to either win by submission or a knockout, I think Anthony Hernandez by submission. I mean, a man averages 6 takedowns per fight. Man gets people to the ground. Anthony Hernandez by submission on Sean Strickland. And if you're going to pick a round, for some reason, I know we talked about early in the rounds getting them down, but for some reason, pick later in the rounds if you want to pick a specific round, maybe round 4. And the best top underdog play is Dan Ige at plus 185. And that's pretty much it.
Trying to build my bet. I'm sorry. I should have had
No,
this
you're
done earlier.
Other bets that I've seen while you're doing that? Actually, this is the one because every time I do type it into AI just to see what AI says, and this is what AI said. AI was most confident win for Jeff Neal to win overall at negative 210. Not the best odds. You ain't going to win much. And then the thing AI said right below that, the first 2 was my personal, but AI is the last 2. I'm not telling you to bet on these people. It said a safe prop bet is Dan Ige versus Costa fight to go to the distance. I don't know about that one.
Again, it's one of those things. So what they're saying is they favor Costa to beat Ige.
Yes.
And Ige doesn't get finished. So that's what you're betting, I think.
A negative 298. So pretty favorable odds.
Mine is sorry, I need to do this faster. To my 2-bet parlay is nothing big. It's only plus 122, but I got Melky Costa by decision and for the Jeff Neal fight and their Jeff Neal versus Aros Medic to not go the distance.
Okay.
Plus 112.
Plus 112. I like
Just
that.
easy little money, throw $5, make 10.
Yeah.
You know, this
You
is
need
not
a
financial advice.
yeah.
Do not.
If you don't have enough money for if you have enough money for a foot long sub 10 years ago, you put your money on this. You'll be able to have enough money for a foot long sub, possibly today's money, if you use a coupon.
But no drink.
No drink and chips.
All right, let's get back to Zach Reese versus Michel Pereira. You said do not bet on him. I am assuming that means you are going with Zach Reese in this fight.
Correct.
Yeah, it's most likely, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. It's
But
a feeling.
I'm again. They're going curtain jerker, so I'm expecting a fun, wild fight. And
Mm-hmm.
when I'm overall at this card, the first fight, I expect wildness. The second fight, two undefeated Americans. The third fight, you're hoping for a ground and pound finish knockout at heavyweight. Top 10, two top 10 heavyweights. That should be a marquee thing here. At another time, this would have been the headliner.
Yeah.
Not over Strickland, but you know what I mean? Like, this would have been the headliner of a fight night. They love putting heavyweights at the top, but these days, not so much, and that's why they're there. But, the Costa Ige fight, that's going to be a barn burger. There's going to be a knockout in Jeff Neal versus Medic. And yeah, Sean Strickland versus Anthony Hernandez. Here are two of the toughest, most dangerous dudes at middleweight going at each other to see which one of us gets the honor of going to war with Hamzat Chimaev. So This is a great fight night.
This is a great fight night. That's not a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And that's, I think,
really quick, I got to shout him out. He's one of my other favorite fighters at middleweight. I'm pretty sure he's a middleweight fighter. On the prelims, it's a welterweight, I'm sorry. Chitty Bang Bang takes on Carlos Leal. Two just big knockout artists. It's great. And also Ode Osborne is the flyweight fighter is fighting before that. He's always a fun fighter to watch too. I love
Bang Bang is a fucking. I mean, you're not wrong.
Chitty Bang
Bang Bang. And honestly, I think we should just end it right there with that.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to be having a lot of. We got a little good stretch. I think it's 7 to 8 weeks straight fights. We got some new segments that we're going to start doing. We took a little bit of a break, and so we're going to be really trying to have some content for you. Pretty much, hopefully, at least every other day, we're going to have something for you guys. Please like, share, subscribe, and Kelby, is there anything else?
No, I'm setting up. I don't know if you guys listened through the whole podcast, but just setting it up. I'm gonna have short clips being released every single day, spreading them out a little bit more, doing it a little bit better. So there will be daily content coming out, only at minute spurts, and we're going to try to at least consistently do these pods twice a week.
Yeah, and again, we got sick and took a week off, so shame on us. But hey, after that Patty fight, I just want to kind of thank everyone. We've got a lot of engagement on the Patty the Batty stuff, but even on some of our other things, our little Kelby, you got torched for your little goat list or whatever it was. I forget what it. But
I'm not going to respond to that. But thank you for over 21,000 views in a 3-day period. And about 200 comments, over about 15 shares, and about almost 150 likes.
That's just so wild. We've started podcasts quite a few times, and we've never gotten engagement like that. So maybe it's different this time. So thank you for watching. I doubt anyone's watching at this point, anyways. But for the people that enjoy watching us talk about the fight game, we plan to talk a lot more.
Yes. Deuces.
See ya.
See ya.